Another in our series of end to end. Now, typically we go from one part of the playing surface to the other, but it's cold, it's wet outside. It says in my contract I'm not allowed to get wet. So instead, we're talking with Texas State pitching coach Paige McDuffee for the softball program in the baseball and softball offices. So instead of going from home plate to home plate around the bases, we're going to go from here to another location of the office. So Paige, let's go end to end and talk a little bit more about Texas State softball. I want to learn more about you. The Woodlands High School has been good to Texas State. One of the pictures actually right behind me is of Paul Goldschmidt, baseball star, who played at the Woodlands. You played at the Woodlands, won a state title, and used your high school success to play at one of the premier programs in the country at UCLA. So how do you go from the Woodlands to Los Angeles to Texas State?
Yeah, so it's been a little bit of a journey. I made it to the Woodlands my sophomore year of high school, got recruited my junior year out to UCLA, and went out trying to get the best of the best with academics and athletics. Got to go to the World Series a few times, which was awesome. And then headed out to New Hampshire, where I coached at Dartmouth for a year and a half. Moved down here and volunteered. Talked to Coach Woodward about if there were any opportunities, and it worked out, and then here we are now.
I understand it. You sent kind of a blind email to Coach Woodward if you had any openings. You happened to have one that came up like the day before. So you come on as a volunteer assistant. Now here you are as the pitching coach for the program. What's it like working with Coach Woodward?
I love working with Coach Woodward. I mean, she's been in the game for a while now, and she's such a respected coach. So being able to just learn and pick her brain on a daily basis is just a really great opportunity for me to grow as a coach and develop as a coach. But it's also just been a really fun time because me and her get along really well, and we have a good camaraderie within our staff as well.
I'll tell you what, again, there's not a lot of room in the offices to go from one end to the other and keep a conversation going. Let's have a seat and let's talk a little bit more about your involvement with the program. And I want to get into the pitching staff here for a second. Fans know the name Paige, and they know Megan King, but they're not as familiar with this freshman, Jessica Mullins. Tell us a little bit more about her and what kind of impact she could have.
Jessica Mullins is someone who came in the fall, and you immediately just knew she had the it factor. She has that grit to her that you look for in a pitcher who wants the ball at any time. She's not fearful of any hitter. She has that I'm going to beat you mentality, which we love. So I'm really excited to see what she does this year for us.
Now, last season was kind of taken away from this team. You were in the middle of the season. You were getting ready for a conference series against Coastal Carolina when the pandemic really hit home in the middle of March. So that rest of the season was canceled. So you had a year taken away from you. And now you're trying to get through a pandemic year, starting a new season here in 2021. What challenges do you see lying ahead for the program in terms of getting through the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of challenges, and we've kind of embraced that and have talked about that as a staff and as a team about, we're just going to have to roll with the punches because there are going to be a lot of unknowns this year. I think we did a very good job over the summer and stuff. Myself and Coach Woodward did a lot of, diving into development of the players, and this fall I really had the opportunity to slow things down with the pitchers, so I think that was a great opportunity. So we're just going to keep rolling with the punches and take it as it comes.
Again, it's not exactly a trip around the bases or end to end of the softball complex, but you know what? It's cold, it's wet outside. No thank you. This is going to have to do. For pitching coach Paige McDuffee, I'm Brian Freeman. This has been End to End. Eat 'em up.